Hi, everybody. I'm a little bummed that we don't get class on Friday the 13th together. I feel like we're going to miss out. It's like a holiday. Um, but happy Tuesday. Let's start where we, normally start on our backs, or if you are a little more supported sitting, feel free to sit up. You can also, if you're at home or in an office, feel free to grab a chair and, use a chair throughout your practice if you need to. So as usual, giving yourself some time to intentionally slow things down. I'm going to let you define things. Gently reminding yourself that you have total agency over your practice. So if something doesn't feel safe, it doesn't feel supported, please, no judgment. Just back out of it. Find a really safe, comfortable shape and take some time to catch and feel your breath. So as we intentionally slow down, taking a few moments to feel the ground beneath you. And feeling the earth, the ground support you. The ground for many of us provides added grounding, stability, support. Giving yourself a moment. Feeling the back body. So if you're lying back, we don't get to see the back body very often. So it's also a practice in learning to feel parts that we don't see. And so feeling the back of your skull down nice and broad across the back of the shoulders, down through the arms, the ribs, the hips, pelvis, the legs into the feet. And we might all feel something a little similar, but we're all going to feel something different. And so acknowledging and feeling what you feel and taking a few moments to also feel your breath. And even though the back, ribs, and lungs are on the floor, if you're lying back, can you feel a connection to the breath in the back lungs and the back ribs? And if you're seated, feeling your sit bones and your thigh bones grounding down. And all of us then again coming back to the back of the rib cage, the back of the lungs. We'll take about 3, 4, 5 breaths here. What does it feel like in your body from the back of your skull all the way through your spine into your tailbone? Noticing and feeling your tailbone. You might retrace that all the way from your tailbone up your spine into the back of your skull. What does that feel like? And using your spine to help you ground, even if you're seated. You use your spine to help you feel your body on the floor, to feel your body in space. Let's just take 3 more breaths. And then noticing what you notice and reconnect back. Let's just take a moment to use the breath now as an anchor. Feeling the rise, the fall of the breath. Just 2 breaths, 2 inhales, 2 exhales. And then when you feel your next exhale, taking your arms up towards the ceiling. So if you're in the room, just being mindful, we're going to start to swing the arms out to the side. So if you have water or anything close to you, even at home, you might want to move it around. Yeah. All right. So your arms are up towards the ceiling and we're going to come and feel the spine again. So remaking that physical connection to your spine. See if you can keep your spine nice and stable. So not moving the spine, just taking your arms out really wide like a T towards the floor. And when your arms get down to the floor, then lift them up so there's a little bit of a hover. And then again, back body awareness. Can you feel the back of your heart space under your shoulder blades? All the way through the back of the arm. So we're just going to let the arm hover for a moment and take a breath into the back ribs and lungs. And then with an exhale, try and keep your spine stable. Don't move the spine, just move the arms back up towards the ceiling. And then you can go with your breathing, opening out into a wide T with your arms and pulling the arms back up towards the ceiling. Maybe start to feel your shoulder blades in relationship to your arms and your spine. So arms and shoulder blades move together while the spine stays stable. The spine isn't going to move. We're going to move the shoulder blades, move the arms. See if you can feel that maybe 2 or 3 more times. And then this time when your arms come back out like a T, we're going to pause. Come back to feeling what you can't see. So you don't get to see your back body. See if you can take a breath and feel the back of the skull, shoulders, ribs, hips, and feet again. And when you feel your exhale, rotate your arms so your palms face down. Sweep your arms down by your pelvis. So your palms face down, your thumbs face in. And then with an inhale, sweep your arms out wide like sun salutations. Just float them along the floor and then reach them overhead like a sun salutation. Okay, so they're behind you, not up towards the ceiling. So you're reaching towards the wall behind you. And then you're going to sweep the arms out wide. Rotate back towards the floor and bring your thumbs back towards your hips. Inhale, sweep your arms out, rotate palms up, sweep and stretch the arms up, 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 overhead, stretch behind you. And then just moving the arms like sun salutation arms, just let them hover on top of the ground. And we'll do about 3 more, seeing again if you can feel that stability of your spine. So you don't need to move the spine and moving the shoulder blades. Can you feel the shoulder blade movement, the stability and strength of the spine? Sweet. 1 or 2 more. This should not hurt in your shoulder. So if you're getting a pinch anywhere in this movement, stop at the pinch. There's no need to pinch. And then the next time your arms come down by your side, we're just going to go ahead and let the arms come all the way down. We'll meet here back in constructive rest pose as our baseline, and we'll give ourselves 3 breaths. Sweet. And then just noticing, feeling, ooh, where's your breath? What does this feel like? We're going to roll all the way over onto your belly. So we're going to do a little bit of upper back strength wake up. Okay. So before we do down dogs and before we do some sun salutations, let's just wake up some of those upper back muscles that we need, those back delts and shoulder, that whole shoulder, back shoulder area. We're going to wake that up. So we're going to come to this prone mountain shape on your belly. And this prone mountain shape, your hands will come down by your lower ribs. I can't get my forehead much closer because I have this mic on, but most of you probably don't have a mic on. So you can get your forehead way down. Okay, and your forehead can just hover with your nose. And then your hands press into the floor. Now you can adjust if you're feeling tension in your wrists. You could, definitely take the hands a little bit higher and get some flexion out of the wrist if you need to. So grounding a nice strong hand, and then feel again, right, back into your body, the length of your spine, crown of the head. You can go down the spine into your tailbone, or you could use the tailbone and come up. Take a couple moments and try and get your front body as close to the floor as you can. Nose hovering. So again, we're going to hold that spine really stable and just move those shoulder blades around. So just see if you can keep your hands nice and heavy on the floor and do some big shoulder circles, taking those shoulder blades up and around. And you can go the opposite direction. So you're going to move the shoulder blade in relationship to the stability, strength of the muscles around the spine. And then we're going to slow those circles down. And we're going to feel the shoulder blades press down into your back. So if I could walk around the room, I would come put my hands on your shoulder blades, and I would press your shoulder blade down towards your rib cage. You would take a deep breath and breathe your rib cage up into the shoulder blades. So let's try that. Imagine my hands on your shoulder blades, and you're going to take a deep breath and breathe up into that shoulder blade. So shoulder blades firm on your back now. So now you're not going to move your shoulder blade. You're going to move your spine. You're going to inhale, lengthen your spine and lift your chest, little baby cobra. And you're going to exhale, lower down. We're going to do about 4 more. So can you feel your shoulder blade now stable? So the muscles underneath the shoulder blade and around the upper back stabilize, hold that blade in place so you can move your spine. Using your inhale to lift the chest and your exhale to lower down. Last one. Come back to that prone mountain shape. Give yourself 2 or 3 breaths. With your exhale, see if you can let your chest get as close to the floor as you can, keeping your nose hovering. Now we have to add a piece here, engaged breathing. We really want to support the low back so that we're not overly compressing in the low back. So remember that engaged breathing from a few classes ago where we draw the ribs down and in, the navel draws up this time towards your spine. Okay, so we want to feel like that cummerbund corset of support. And now if you want a little more challenge, you're going to keep the breath in your awareness, engage breathing, strong core, lift your hands up off the floor. Little more challenging, take your arms out wide like T's and try and keep your chest down. Keep your low back strong, and then you're just going to tap and lift your arms. You can go to a T. You can go wide to an Y. And then you can go wide to an I out in front of you. You can go back to your Y and then back to your T. Can you feel that connection across the upper back? And then bringing both hands back by your lower ribs. Let the hands float. Press the hands down. Inhale, lift the spine, lift the chest, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. More challenging, lift your hands. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the spine, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. 2 more. So either fingertips on the ground, hands on the floor, pressing down, or hands hovering. Baby cobra, remember to keep your core strong, support your low back. Next time you come down back to prone mountain, pause, tuck your chin a little bit, work on trying to really release your chest. So releasing and letting your chest get as close to the floor as you can. Nose just hovering. What does it feel like to take 2 deep breaths in your upper back again? Can you feel the back ribs and lungs expand up to your shoulder blades? So take a big deep breath in your back. Full exhale. Great. Bring your hands back to your lower ribs like the bottom of a push-up. Curl your toes under, engage your core. You got to push up, right? So you could push up to tabletop or push up to straight arm plank, but you got to push up. Great. And then you can push up and back and build your downward facing dog. So give yourself a moment to pedal out your feet. If you're at home and you need a chair or table for your down dog or the wall, make those adjustments, bending your knees. So let's all bend the knees a little bit. Let the head hang, tuck the chin so you can look back between your legs. And then take those hip creases and pull them back with your bum so you can feel a little longer through your side ribs. Feel a little longer in your low back. So it's okay to keep your knees bent the whole downward dog. We're really trying to find more length in the low back. And then see again, if you can feel what you can't see. What does the back body feel like? What do the back shoulders feel like here? Back ribs, back hips, 2 or 3 breaths. And take a deep breath into your upper back. And then when you're ready, keep your hip creases drawing back. And like that little baby cobra we just did, shoulder blades stay on your back. Lift your spine, chest, little like downward facing dog combo with a baby cobra. Bend your knees, bend your knees. And then exhale when you're ready, stepping your feet forward. And pressing down to come all the way on up if you feel like it, taking a full body stretch. And bringing your arms down, building your standing mountain pose. So if you're in the room, you can definitely look at me, or you can look out over the lake. We're pretty fortunate. I mean, not to pause class. Sorry if you're not here in person, but there's loons out there. They're awesome. So you can look at the loons. All right, we're going to just take your feet a little bit wider. And then we're just going to work on pelvic flexion for a moment. So please start this a little more from the posterior back side. You could put your hands on your back hips. And then feeling, again, what you can't see, lift that back hip area up. Right? You could pull your back hip area up out of your heels. Give your knees a little bend. And then we're going to lift. So we're going to inhale, lift the back hips to come up to tip over. And then just come over as far as is comfortable for your low back and your hamstrings. And then come all the way back up to standing. 2 more here on your own. Little soft bend in your ankles and your knees. Feel the back hips lift to come up and over. It's kind of like we're just greasing or lubricating the hips before we do lots of forward folds. So, you know, check in. What does the low back feel like here? What do your hamstrings feel like? Do you need to bend your knees more? You know, I do this with you, but your body is very different. So you might need to bend your knees a lot. That's why we go kind of slow so we can figure it out for ourselves. Then we're going to come back up, let our arms hang, and just give ourselves 2 breaths to feel the breath and look at the loons. And then here we go. We're going to exhale, sweep your arms out and up. Bend your knees a little bit. Lift the back hips up and over. Forward fold. As you come up and over, you shouldn't feel any, you know, discomfort or, you know, too much tension in the back of the legs. You might adjust. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. So however you're going to find your dog, maybe you go down to tabletop. Keep that bend in the knees. Let your head hang to look between your legs. You did that work in that prone mountain earlier to strengthen and wake up the back of the shoulders. So use that connection here. Pull your hip creases back, shoulder blades on your back. Can you feel the shoulder blades? Take a breath into the shoulder blades. And then lift the chest like a little baby cobra again. Look out at your hands. Exhale, walk your feet up to your hands when you're ready. Press down, exhale, come all the way on up. Right away, bend your knees, lift the back hips up and over and fold. Wait for your inhale to lift the chest. Slide the shoulder blades down out of the ears. So it's really easy to come to this shape and have your shoulders hugging way up in your ears. So let the shoulder blades slide down a little bit. Exhale, fold. And this, we're going to step your left foot all the way back. Okay, so right now you're on your fingertips, and we want to use the fingertips and the arms in the back to help support. So you can look back and see the strength of the leg behind you. And then you're going to have to push down and come all the way up to a high lunge. So you're going to adjust so you feel stable. This back leg might come in, might step back. You're going to build that stability place, that place of support. Then you're going to lift the back hips up again. Keeping that left back leg really strong. We're going to bend the right knee. Push down to straighten. 2 more. Next time your right knee's bent, pause. Bring your arms down. Sweep the arms out to come all the way on up. Now, if having your arms up is a little scary, Bring your hands either to your chest or back on your hips. Okay, so arms could be up, could be at your chest, could be at your hips. Now, the most challenging part of this is to soften the chest, to soften the throat and soften the gaze. 2 breaths to soften the chest, the throat, the gaze. Exhale, you're going to tip forward, put your fingertips back on the floor. You got it. Now you have to step back, downward facing dog. Let's add a little challenge coming down to your tabletop. So upper back strength. Okay, find your upper back, find the back of your shoulders, and take the back of your shoulders forward over your wrists. You can stay right here and just lift your chin a little bit, or you could do 3 little push-ups or 1 little push-up. Maybe you do 10 little push-ups. We're all different. And then we push back and meet back in downward facing dog. I'm going to encourage you to bend your knees again in your dog and pull your hip creases back. Shoulder blades nice and strong on your back. Lift your chest, that little downward facing dog, baby cobra combo. And with an exhale, step both feet up to your hands. Bend your knees and come all the way back on up to standing. Right away, bend your knees. Feel the back of your hips kind of lift up to come over as you fold. Okay, lift the chest a little bit. Pause to feel what you can't see. You don't get to see your shoulder blades. So see if you can just feel yourself, even take a breath in that direction and let the blade slide down out of your ears. And then fold and step your right foot back. You can take as much time as you need to build this lunge. This is like building the foundation of your home, okay? We don't want to cheat on the foundation. Okay, so when you come up to your high lunge, if you're at home and you need something to balance or go by a wall, that's what you're gonna do. If you need to step your foot up a little bit, be careful going too wide. In previous classes, we've talked about plugging the legs into the hips. So feel this first, and then work on bending and straightening that front leg. We all feel strength in the hips a little differently. How do you feel strength in your hips? Stability, strength through your spine. Next time your left knee's bent, pause. Lift the pelvic bowl up. Arms come down. Maybe your arms sweep out to come up. If this is scary, it's too much, then put the arms where they support you in the best way possible. Find that place and take 2 or 3 breaths. The biggest challenge is to soften the face, soften the throat and the chest. Inhale, exhale, fold all the way forward. Fingertips, hands to the floor. Step back, build your downward facing dog. Lower down to tabletop. If you want the push-up plank challenge, come forward. Now, I'm doing push-ups on my knees. That doesn't mean you have to. Maybe you straighten your legs and do push-ups from a straight arm plank. Okay? Maybe you try 1 or 2 push-ups. Maybe do 10. right? The challenge is to stay present, concentration and control through the push-up or the plank. When you're ready, we meet back in child's pose or downward facing dog or tabletop. Or maybe you come to a seated place or you roll on your back, finding a shape for 2 or 3 breaths. If you're in down dog, bend your knees. Pull your hip creases back. Lift your chest a little bit. Do that baby cobra dog combo. And we're going to exhale, walk our feet up to our hands. So whatever shape you're in, give yourself a few moments. Whew. And then we'll all meet back in a standing mountain. And we'll take 5 breaths. So it's an opportunity to come back, to feel your body reconnect to the ground. Notice what your feet feel like on your yoga mat or the carpet. That feeling connecting all the way up into your lower body, into your torso, all the way into your upper body. Just using your breath as an anchor for 2 breaths. And then can you connect your left ear through the neck? Okay, you don't get to see your shoulder blade, the strength of your upper back shoulder blade, right? All the way through your rib cage, your core area here. Okay, down through your glute into your hamstring, into your foot. So connect the left ear through those strength places into your left heel. And we're going to pick up your right heel. And this might be right where you choose to find your balance. If you feel already a little anxious just by the word balance, you could put a hand on your chest. So your challenge here is to do tree pose with a soft chest. So then you can pick up your right foot and bring it around to your left ankle. You could keep your toes down. So as you set up and build the tree shape, notice what's going on in the chest. Maybe notice what's going on in the upper ribs. Right? Maybe you kickstand and bring your toes up or bring your leg up. Totally your call, right? You're building the shape based off of the ease in your chest. So as long as you can keep your chest easeful, and your throat and your jaw, you can keep going. I'm going to pause and just explore this for a couple of breaths in silence. Now you have to take this shape into that high lunge. So you're going to take a moment to just maybe visualize that. And then you know that right leg has to step back into the high lunge. You're going to build that. Remember, most challenging is to try and keep the chest soft, the throat soft, maybe the eyes soft. Find a supportive place for your arms, maybe overhead or at your heart or on your hips. And you build your shape here, 3 breaths. Right, see if you can feel the back ribs. And with an inhale, lift the back ribs up. Lift the back hips up, and then you're going to lift the back ribs and hips to come up and over, lunge, and step back, downward facing dog. Right, so many places to go. Maybe you come to your push-up. Maybe you come back to child's pose or plank. Right, you're going to choose a place. You're going to try and concentrate, be aware, embodied of your push-up of your plank, of your dog, of your child's pose. And then counting 3 more breaths. At the end of that third exhale, we're going to meet back in either tabletop or downward facing dog. And then when you get to your downward facing dog, bend your knees. If you're in table, stay in table. Tabletop people can come to your little cow, just a little cow. And us downward facing dog folks can find that downward facing dog baby cobra combo, 2 breaths. Feel your exhale. Say thank you. Oh, yay, my body's still exhaling. Step both feet up to your hands when you're ready. So tabletoppers will figure it out. We come all the way back up. Woo. And then bring the arms down and hang out. Take 5 breaths if you want to turn and look at the loons. You want to hang out, look at the water. If you're at home, maybe finding, a nice spot on the wall, on the carpet, just letting your eyes soften a little bit, along with your breath, encouraging again your throat and chest to relax. All right, feeling your legs then again, connect to the floor. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to ground through the right side this time and bring your left foot to your right ankle. Is this the right side, everyone? Yes. It's one of those days, right? So you're building your tree from the place of stability, and the stability is going to create the container for you to let go of tension in the throat and the jaw. Stability comes out of strength. So you got to find that place of strength from your right ear to your right back shoulder, right through your abdominal core, your glutes, your hamstrings. So you're going to build your tree. I'll remind you that your tree should be a little wobbly because you're a human. Okay, so if you're like, oh, I can't get it because I'm wobbling. Well, show yourself some gratitude. We're all wobbly. And we're wobbly because we're alive. You can take your arms out and up, right? You're building your tree. But if you take your arms up, oh, like I just did and got really tight in the chest, that's too much. I got to back off, right? But we're all different. Find that tree, take a few breaths. Then we have to build the high lunge. So you're ready. When you're ready, you're going to build that lunge. You're going to use whatever you need. If you're at home and you need a wall or a chair, you're going to go get it. You're going to find where your arms are most comfortable. Maybe that's up. Maybe that's at your chest. Maybe that's at your hips. And again, the most challenging is to keep that throat, that chest in your awareness, trying to keep some ease there. How do you know if, you're getting really tight there? Well, a lot of us will push the rib cage forward. Okay, so are your ribs down and in? Sometimes the breath gets a little choked up there if it's really tight. And then bring an inhale into your upper back. Remember that feeling of the back hips going up and over. We want to feel that in the back hips and the ribs. So you're going to inhale, take the back hips up and over. Fingertips to the floor. Downward facing dog. You are going to pick, right? Where are you going to go? Push-ups, plank pose, child's pose, table. Great. Now we're going to come back to the downward facing dog or a tabletop. One more time. If you're in table, you can do your little cow. If you're in downward facing dog, you can do your dog mixed with your baby cobra. And then we're going to make our way back to good old fashioned tabletop and push back into a child's pose or come onto your back. So child's pose is not for everyone, right? Not all of our knees can do this. So you can always roll on your back. We're going to take 3 quiet breaths. Notice what you notice. And then give yourself a full exhale. And then we're going to roll onto your backs. So we're going to come all the way onto your back. Arms can come down by your sides. Great. So a little bit of extension. We're just going to do 3 bridges here. So as you put your feet on the floor, feel the feet. And then from the feet, come up to feel the back of the pelvis. Okay. And then press your navel down. So you are purposely imprinting and pushing your low back into the floor. And then very slowly with control, roll vertebra by vertebra up to a low bridge. And so what we mean by low bridge is that the back of your pelvis will not lift very high. Like mine's maybe if I feel it 2 or 3 inches up. And then we're going to try and lengthen. So we want to feel the front of the hips lengthen, like your knees could go forward over your toes. And again, then the most challenging part is going to be probably to keep the chest soft and then roll back down. Feel the feet, feel the back of the pelvis, press your navel down, roll back up to bridge. Try and lengthen the front of the hip a little bit by pressing the knees forward and then roll back down. One more, you can rest here in constructive rest, or if you'd like, roll back up into that low bridge. Now, if you want something a little more, or for some of us, maybe a lot more challenging, you are going to push into your heels. And you're going to try and keep that length through the front of the hip and take the pubic bone up. And then the pelvis will go higher, 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 higher. You might be trying to get your pelvis as high as your knees. That might sound crazy, but you're going in that height direction. And then again, soften the chest, soften the throat. If you soften the throat and the chest, you've got to use engaged breathing. And you have to tie into that corset cummerbund strength. 3 breaths. And then release all the way down. And then just pause here. Take your legs out nice and wide so you keep your knees bent. And then drop your knees into the middle and press your knees together. So your feet are really wide. You're going to have some internal rotation. This will stretch the back of your sacrum. It's not for everyone, so if it doesn't feel good, remember, you back out. And then open the knees back to the ceiling and just drop them right side, left side. So just a little windshield wiper feel. And then as we come towards the end of class, we always take the last few minutes to take care of ourselves. So as you're moving here, check in. How are things going? How do you feel physically, energetically? Maybe you want to take the last minute or so here to just rest. Maybe there's a favorite stretch you really want to do. I'm going to take the last minute or so here. Just keep moving. If you feel you want to keep moving, if you feel you want to take a moment to just relax and breathe, please feel free. You always take the last minute or so in silence. Just noticing what you notice. Can you come back to feel the ground, the earth, the stability? And then from the feeling of the ground beneath you, feeling your breath. Can you feel the breath and the ground together? 3 breaths. And then if you'd like, take a full body stretch. Just do a great big stretch. It's kind of gray and cold out. Might pump up your energy a little bit. Just take up your arms overhead and really reach them over, stretch out your legs. And then we're going to either roll all the way up like a roll up sit up or roll over to the easiest side and come on up to sitting. Whew. We'll interlace your hands and just stretch your upper back, stretch your sides. Woo, thanks everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope to see you on Friday. Have a great week. Thank you so much.